Hi, everybody. It looks like my crummy old internet via the dongle is actually working. I've got you on my phone and I've got you on my laptop. So that is progress indeed. Anyway, guys, lovely to have you here. Um, Before we go, drop me a hashtag live if you're here watching and a hashtag replay if you're catching it later. Wow, I've got two people watching by the looks of it. Three people watching. Yeah. Replay catching later. Wow, I've got two people watching by the looks of it. Three people watching. Kapana, lovely to see you. How are you today? Kapana, lovely to see you. Oh, turn my volume down. I thought I'd done that. Let's just get rid of that echo on the line. Okay, so let's do this. So I wanted to talk about something that completely changed how I showed up online. Because when I first started, I thought success meant being polished and perfect. In fact, I was terrified to show up online if it wasn't polished and perfect. Edited for the umpteenth time, practiced with no flaws. Perfect is a big ask, really is, because it's very subjective. And how do you actually decide if it's going to be perfect enough? And how many times? Seriously, can you delete something and start again? It's just, all it did was actually delay me from starting. Hi, Roy, lovely to see you. But what I have learned, and what you probably do know, is what people connect with most. They connect with the real moments, all that mucky bits in the middle, the messy bits, the bits that go wrong, and the truth. Because when you start showing up and being personal and emotional, you have cracked the code, because this is when people start relating to what you're saying. When you can talk about how you feel, that's what makes the reader think, yes, that's how I felt. I'm walking in Leslie's shoes, or Leslie's walking in my shoes. And that really was when things started to change for me. And today I want to show you why your voice, your real voice, is your brand's most powerful marketing tool. And this is really important when currently there's this huge trend on Facebook and Instagram, actually. Can't comment so much on YouTube, where everything is AI driven. And I'm not throwing rocks at AI, because I actually think AI is a really good tool. But how can you get a tool to work for you optimally if you haven't discovered your own voice, your real voice? Now, what does real actually mean? And we throw that word around a lot. In fact, I think it must be the most overused AI expression of them all. And I can remember when I first heard it, I thought, I am real. I'm here, real. So what are they talking about? So being real means show up authentically. But what does that actually look like in business? So here's what real looks like to me. First of all, it's relatable. You share experiences other people can recognize. You don't pretend to have it all figured out. And you talk like a human, like you are, not a highlight reel, because life is not one highlight after another. And it's emotional. You're willing to express how things actually feel, the wins, the wobbles, or the warts. People connect through emotion. They don't connect through information. They always connect about how it makes them feel. And then alignment. You show up in a way that matches your values. Not pretending, no pretending, no copying someone else's voice. And I see this so much now when I look at my feed and I'm going through my profile. I can see post after post after post, slightly different, but the words have all been taken off the same sheet. And the final one is listening. You pay attention to what your audience is struggling with. Because being real, being you, being authentic, being genuine, and being unfiltered, it isn't about just speaking, it's about hearing. So you have to listen. In fact, the truth is, you have to do more listening than anything else. And I can remember many years ago, I did a crisis counseling course over 2 years. And I used to go to some lovely venues in the UK, particularly a place called Leeds Castle in Kent. And it's a beautiful castle and it's surrounded by a moat, and we'd be there for the weekend and we'd have an absolute ball. And yet, when we were inside doing the course for crisis counseling, and this could be someone losing their job, so it was career counseling, it was someone who was being abused or bullied at work or subject to discrimination, whatever it might be, we were taught that 90% of it was listening. And I've never forgotten that. Anyway, I digress a little bit there. So why your voice matters more than your visuals? People don't worry about what they look like. Oh no, people often worry about what they look like online. But trust me, the people who are scrolling, the ones that want to be inspired, they aren't scrolling for perfection. They're actually scrolling to find people to connect with. That's what they want. They want connection. So your voice, the way you speak, the tone you use, the stories you tell, is what builds connection. Now, okay, it might be your voice in the written word, it might be your voice on a reel, um, but it's your true self that shows through, that builds that connection. So think about it. A logo can't reassure someone, and a funnel can't inspire belief, but your voice can. Your voice turns strangers into friends and friends into clients. And if you're in the DMs and you are talking to someone, there is a little button there that you can actually leave a voice message. And that is a very powerful touch point. There's also the facility there where you can record a talking video. Now, you don't see that so much, but occasionally I jump into the DMs and there's someone there that's left me don't know what you call that actually, a video, talking video. And, and it's kind of nice to actually see a face on the other end of the voice. So there's some powerful tools there that allow you to use the most powerful of them all, you speaking. Now, speak before you're ready. Will you ever really feel ready? It's very hard because everything is geared, the brain is geared to um, strive for that flawlessness, that perfection. So it stops you wanting to jump online and actually talk. And I know that firsthand because I did my first live about 18 months ago. It's still in here and it's horrendous. The first lives I went onto my profile and I did 30 of them. I mean, it's quite incredible. The only thing that works with any of this is practice. But I do remember that when I went live, to say I was terrified was probably an understatement. I was shaking. I could feel the shaking. If I looked down, I could see my heart beating, my shirt moving because my heart was beating so erratically. But that first live wasn't supposed to be perfect. I was just trying to go out there and present myself the way I was. And, I think that there's people that's probably watched that video now that maybe are just doing their first live or are thinking about doing their first live because we've all started at that same point. And I do believe that when we do that first live and we start speaking, there's nothing wrong with saying, this is the first time I've come online. I'm nervous. And I remember saying something along those lines. And that really does build trust faster than any polished post possibly could. So if you're waiting until your story sounds right or your setup looks absolutely fantastic, don't start now because that imperfection, that imperfect voice is what makes people pay attention. So take a minute and think, what's one story your audience needs to hear from you right now? And we've all got stories like that we can share. You know, it might be a lesson that you learnt the hard way, a time you nearly threw the towel in, you quit, but you didn't, or something that you wish you'd known when you started. You know, write it down and make a promise to yourself you'll share it this week. Well, when I say this week, I don't mean by tomorrow, I mean before next Thursday. Go live, write it in a post, or go into your stories at the top of your Facebook page and talk in your Facebook stories. And that is really how you turn your voice into your brand. So if you take nothing else away from today, remember you don't need to sound like anyone else. You just need to sound like you. And there's some pretty polished people out there that jump online and talk now, but they're not just starting out. They've probably been doing it for 3 or 4 years. And just remember, doing that, putting yourself out there, being vulnerable is what builds trust. It will build a brand. And that's really, yeah, it is where the magic happens. So if you need any help crafting your story or finding your voice online, just drop me a message and I'll happily jump in and help you where I can. So short and sweet today, guys, because honestly, I wasn't sure how long my internet would last, although I don't know how long we've been, but that's quite good. Got it all finished. Let me see if I've got anyone's got any questions about anything that we've talked about. Um, Hi, Steve and Duncan. What do you know? You must have a signal offshore. Nice to see you. How are things going with you? Um, Roy, how are things? Yeah, my internet worked, Roy. So got to be grateful for the little things in life. And I don't have it here, but I actually got my new broadband disc delivered. So I'm going to hook that up tonight so that when I wake up in the morning, hopefully I shall have brand new broadband. Well, brand new. I mean, it's only the broadband that I had 6 days ago. Anyway, these things happen. These are the little challenges in life that actually has made me realize how important it is when we say work from anywhere. If you haven't got a good internet connection, it's not that easy to work from anywhere. It's really quite challenging. I know why I see so many people when I pop in after the gym to the coffee shop and there's people there sitting with their computers, tables taken up with people working because they need an internet. And I just take it for granted because it's in the house. Anyway, guys, that's it. Lovely to have you here. Thank you for giving up your time today. I really appreciate it. And if you need anything, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop me a message in the DMs. I'd love to hear from you. And I probably should just mention, now I'm thinking about it, I have got something coming um, by the beginning of November. I think I'm going to start the beginning of November. Something that was really business transforming for me, something that I joined in at the last minute, wasn't going to join in with, and I did. And within 2 weeks, I'd made a high ticket sale, and it gave me so much confidence and so much clarity on what I was doing with my content and what I was posting that I have put together a little, what should I call it? A little surprise for anyone that wants to jump in and be part of it. Because if it can do for you what it did for me, it would be wonderful. Anyway, I will let you know more about that next week. And I will see you on the next one. Oh, Steve, you're in Madeira today. Oh, very nice. Well, it's 8 degrees here in the south of England, and I can tell you it's cold. I had to actually put my heating on all day today because the house was pretty chilly. So I'm sure you've got some lovely weather. Okay, guys, that's it. Have a great weekend. I've got my mum's 90th birthday party, so I'll be posting some pictures of that. She's got a Elvis coming. My dad has organized an Elvis for her to sing along. Quite a famous Elvis, actually. He's been to Vegas and he's been all around the UK and into Europe. So I'm really quite looking forward to that. My mum loves to dance. She won't be dancing and often on the tables at 90, but she will be really enjoying the music, I know. So it should be quite a nice weekend, all in all. Anyway, guys, take care and I will see you on the next one. Bye.